Hello, this is what came through for April 22nd, 2026. So before I even say this, this is like my third time recording this, and I never have trouble recording something. It's almost like as I'm talking, the information like doesn't want to come out. Like it's really weird. But I'm still doing this. So I don't read the news and all that, like I said many, many, many times. But a few days ago, sometimes things will come across my feed. Very briefly, the stuff about the scientists like missing, unalived, came across my feed, and I don't try to like deep dive into it because I don't want to ever be influenced by anything or whatever. But last night I had a dream about them, and they were like in a room, and they were trying to tell me stuff, but they no words, like no sound was coming out, and it was like silence, but they were like mouthing, and I didn't understand what they were saying. And so I feel like obviously they were silent, but it felt like it was obviously also a metaphor that they were silenced, which like duh, that it seems very apparent here. Like the information that they've already given out and talked about, and being very openly and talking about it and telling other people to talk about it. And I think the biggest thing is after I woke up from the dream, I sat with it and asked more questions. Why, the what's behind it and all of that. And the information I got was the obviously the being silenced thing, but they had more information to talk about, to make people really truly understand, ETs and other beings and realms and galaxies and stuff in a very clear, matter of fact way, to where if the the powers that were, whatever we're referring to them as, the shadow, whatever they would have had planned to do for like fake invasion, attack, whatever, about that kind of stuff, would completely 100% not go as planned, because we would know too much about the truth, right? We're getting there already without them having given us information, but it would have just been like a solidified thing. And they needed that to be like out of the picture with all of these people. So that's the why behind it all. And they're continuing to do that because their plan is starting to like come to fruition, and they're making their plans to actually have this take place and be a thing, because they are so rapidly losing um, control and fear. A big part is the WAR, because so much of it is like not a thing, and it's all big fear based, and nobody's understanding why and what's going on, and none of it makes sense, and no one believes anything. And that is raising the vibration and the awareness and the awakening and the consciousness. So it's really having an impact on the shadow people and all of this. And so once again, it's like this scramble, but they're really trying to be like, we have to do this, we have to put things in place. So we got to take these little steps of having little things happen. But then what's interesting is they're doing this, and they think that we're not going to realize that all these people are, that stuff is happening to them, and they all have this commonality and all of these things. And it's ridiculous that they would even think that, to think that we're that stupid to really think that nothing's going on. And the fact that, I mean, I was even sent things where even like Fox is reporting on, like, of all things, right? Like it is getting to where no one is believing these kinds of things anymore, and it's just not going to work. So what's going to happen is, all it's going to do is have the opposite effect of what they think. Like, all it's doing is raising our vibrations, raising our frequencies and our consciousness, because they're just making so many mistakes that it's just backfiring on them. So this is just, it's frustrating and ridiculous at the same time, because these poor people who had to go through what they went through, I know that they chose this, right? You choose your life path and what you're going to do in this life with this soul on earth, and this, but at the same time, it I know it's all for the greater purpose, the greater good, but it's still so frustrating and ridiculous to just have those types of things happen, because we know that whatever they try next is not going to work. It's going to continue not to work. But that's in our favor, right? We're leveling up, we're raising our vibrations. The consciousness is just getting bigger and deeper, and we're all really starting to come together. Even those that we thought would never come up to this level, right? It's happening. We're seeing it happen, even with public figure type people, and people who are so far to one side are just completely coming out and are raising their vibration along with us. And we knew this was going to happen, but it was just going to be a matter of time for these different groups and individuals for these types of things to happen. So, all that being said, I just really wanted to come on here and talk about that, because I think it's been a while since there's been some like ET stuff and disclosure and things come through, for me at least. And I think it was meant to kind of come through because of that. It's such like a recent thing that's being like discovered now, and it is not a coincidence. It is not an accident. It is all part of this shift that needs to happen. These people chose this path for them to disclose and have this thing happen to them, but for it to then become public, and then for people to question it and be like, what is actually going on here? It is all part of that, and it is a part in the path and the journey that we're all taking for this elevated consciousness, okay? So I think continue to question, right? Continue to ask questions. Don't be afraid. This again, I think it's also like causing fear, like where they're telling us this, right? But then a lot of people are afraid, like, if I talk about it, is something going to happen to me? So there's this like flip side of the coin, right? Is there's also ones that want to talk about, want the news and others to talk about it because they think it's going to make people afraid to talk about it, right? But if all of us talk about it, what are they going to do? So we all just need to keep talking about it. We all need to just not let the fear overpower and take over everything, because we are in control of what happens next. We are in control of that.